If you're the type of shooter that likes to pull your optic when you're cleaning your rifle, let's say you pull it when you're traveling on an airplane, or you have one scope that you might switch to multiple rifle systems, having a set of scope rings or a one-piece mount that will return to zero when you remount it is super critical. Now, one of the hallmarks of our one-piece mounts and our scope rings is they do return to zero when you remount them. One of the things that I've noticed time and time again when I'm making videos or taking photos, and I might be taking a scope off a rifle of my own and taking photos of it, you know, something like that, is that whenever I go back to the range, they always return to zero. So I'm at the range today to test this out. I've got my 223, which I've actually just taken out of my Foundation Centurion and put it in their new carbon fiber hunting stock, the Gideon. So we'll actually be testing two things out here today. A, does the zero shift when I take it out of my Centurion to the Gideon? One thing I've noticed about Foundation stocks is when you remove the barrel to action from the stock and place that back in, the zero is always spot on. But also we'll take the scope off and remount it several times and see if the zero is moving around when we're taking the scope on and off. We're on the gun now, and we've sped up this footage to move things along. You can see the very first shot could not have been more on the money. This load is a 75 grain Hornady bulltail hollow point over some Hodgdon 4895 in wolf brass. We're running these in a Hunter DBM with one of our 5-round 223 magazines and an Impact MBK. All right, got a set of fix-it sticks on the range here. These rings are torqued to spec, 65 inch-pounds on the half-inch nuts. What I'll do is kind of note where I'm at on the pick rail. These are our heavy tactical 1-inch high scope rings, not mount. I think you'll find if you have the one-piece mount, you will get really excellent return to accuracy. But as I've mentioned before, I've noticed that with the scope rings, they do a really good job too. Press it forward into the Picatinny rail. Get these things torqued down. And all right, there's 65. And 65. Now we're on to group 2. And this is where I'd suggest not shooting still off the barricade between takes. Had a good deal of mirage, had a lot of heat coming off the barrel for this group, which I feel led to it trending a little low. Overall though, still a good group and right in our general zero area. All right, second time taking off the scope rings. All right, pull them off. Put them right back on. Press them forward into the mount. Get this snugged up. Grab our torque adapter here. And we will get these locked up. All right, scope rings back on. Group number 3. Group number 3 is going to be on the bottom left-hand side of the target. I'd let the barrel and the rifle cool down quite a bit, so I had a lot less mirage to deal with, and I think I'm getting a much more consistent point of impact with this group. But you can also see we're in that same general zero area after remounting the scope. Last time here, grab my tools. And if you're thinking, oh, that zero's jumping around a tenth here or there, you know, the last time I shot this, I had quite a bit of mirage on the barrel. But since then, the wind's kind of come up. And if you've ever fought a zero, you know you can fight a tenth or two either way. But gosh, I'd say for replacing the scope several times, and changing the stock, taking the suppressor on and off, it just shows what really good components, like the Thunder Beast suppressor, good rings, a good stock. I mean, my Centurion was made probably 3 years ago. To be able to take it in and out of a stock with the micarta bedding block and shoot a stock that was made 3 years newer with the same action inlet profile for an impact is, to me, pretty amazing. All right, let's load up the last 5. This group was looking really good, lining up with the third group. I'd say after 20 rounds, we're also seeing a representation of what a 20-shot group would look like with these reloads. Generally, I use this steel for plinking ammo, but the 75 grain Botel hollow points will shoot some darn good groups on 100 yards. So while that was kind of interesting, I'd say what amazed me the most is that very first shot was right on the money. That barreled action had been taken out of a competition stock and put in a carbon fiber hunting stock. That just shows you the quality of the Foundation stocks in general. Those micarta bedding blocks are cut so close. That Centurion was made several years ago. This Gideon is brand new. That was amazing. And then my suppressor, I take that on and off every range trip, and then taking the rings on and off. I think the only time we actually had kind of a funky group was that second one on the top right. I was getting a lot of mirage off the barrel. It was really calm. But then the nice part is, a little bit of wind came up, it cooled off that barrel, and those next 2 groups were perfect, right on the money. So just shows you what running high quality components like you know, Foundation stocks or Thunder Beast suppressors, you know, our rings, any of these high quality rings and mounts can do this sort of repeatability. Hope you found it interesting. Thanks for watching.